One of the major themes of this free agency period for the San Francisco 49ers is getting cap compliant and getting that number down. Hence why we've seen the San Francisco 49ers move on from Eric Armstead in a bit of a surprise right before free agency started. But not too long after free agency started, we also got a report that Fred Warner had restructured his contract, opening up quite a bit of room in cap space? Well, according to David Lombardi of The Athletic, we got some actual numbers to associate with Fred Warner's contract restructure. And hey, Fred helped us out. Fred helped us create quite a bit in cap space. And this is what the numbers look like. According to Lombardi, the 49ers converted $14.2 million of Fred Warner's base salary to signing bonus. So when you take the base salary and you give it on basically to a player up front in the form of a bonus, that opens up the cap space. So it's like you have to pay the money up front to be able to get that cap space back. And so as a result of that, the 49ers were able to create 10 million in cap space in 2024 by being able to execute this restructure. Now, the next question is probably, well, okay, how much money in cap space do we have now? I don't have the answer for that. Again, I am not going to be your cap expert guy. I am simply passing along the information. David Lombardi, I think, is going to be a great source for that information. And if he puts it out, I don't think I've seen it yet. I will share it with you, and we will see ultimately, though, what that looks like in the form of overall cap savings and where the San Francisco 49ers are at. Now, granted, the 49ers did make two signings yesterday. And again, those become official on Wednesday. So I think that will give us a better shot at understanding where the cap is in totality. But of course, you sign Yader Gross Matos and you also sign Leonard Floyd as defensive ends. So you bolster up your defensive line, and it gives you the opportunity to be able to get stronger, to be able to get better. But in regards to cap compliancy and being able to be in a spot where the 49ers can, afford these guys, that remains to be seen. What the overall cap health looks like, obviously, we got to see how Eric Armstead's release, and again, it hasn't been made official. I think that's an important note here is that Eric Armstead hasn't officially been released. So again, one of the things that we've talked about with Eric is that if he's released prior to June 1st, the 49ers only save about 2.2 million. But if he is designated as a post June 1st cut, the 49ers save about 17.8 million. So, considering the fact that it's not official yet and these moves don't become official until Wednesday, I'm halfway expecting that we're going to find out that Eric Armstead is going to be a post June 1 release in order to be able to save that money against the cap. But that remains, again, to be seen. So we still have to wait and see how this whole cap situation is going to play out. And obviously, there's some additional moves that the San Francisco 49ers need to make. Defensive tackle is a big need in free agency or the draft. Uh, Still kind of got a hole at that right guard spot. I know we have Spencer Burford on the roster, but based on what we saw last year, it does feel like the 49ers want to try to upgrade that position. We will see. So there are still some moves to be made. Veteran safeties, potentially cornerback, depth at linebacker. So there's still moves to be made. But based on where we're headed, the 49ers have been making moves to save money against the cap. Fred Warner being one of them. And again, shout out to Lombardi for putting out that information to kind of give us a sense of what that restructure looked like. Again, we found out about that yesterday. We just didn't know what the details were. And again, I strongly suggest, looking at some of David Lombardi's stuff. If you are interested in the cap part of it and the dollar figure and those types of things, he does a phenomenal job putting together spreadsheets and all those different types of things to make it really easy to understand, especially for guys like me, who that is not my specialty. I would consider myself a film watcher, not a cap cruncher. But that's where David is phenomenal, and he's obviously does phenomenal coverage. But I really lean on David a lot for cap stuff. So we will figure out what the whole cap health looks like in totality. And obviously, I think what's next is, we I don't believe we know what we are paying both Leonard Floyd. Let me double check this really quickly just to make sure I'm not speaking outside of my mouth here. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure I've seen the numbers on Leonard Floyd. They might be out there. Oh, they are out there. Excuse me. I am speaking outside of my mouth. 2 years, 20 million, right? So Leonard Floyd will be making 10 million per year. And then the 49ers signed Yetur Gross Matos to a 2 year, $18 million deal. So again, both relatively cost effective deals. I think the 49ers again wanted to go big, but they went with cost effective production when it's all things considered. And I think they did a phenomenal job doing so. So we'll see what the cap ramifications are for this when it's all said and done. Um, but the San Francisco 49ers have done a quality job in building this roster and trying to stay cap compliant. Again, they have a lot of big time contracts to juggle, and it becomes a challenge. But hey, it is what it is, and they have to make these maneuvers and make hard decisions. And they are doing what they can to get under the cap and stay cap compliant. So, hey, thankfully, that big $30 million increase in the cap obviously is helping the 49ers at this current point. Because if they didn't have that, it definitely appears like there would be even additional moves happening. So let me know what you guys think about what Fred Warner did, kind of the deals that the 49ers have already put in place for their new edge rushers, and where do you think they are going to spend next? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.